We are so honored that you're here with us for Season 3.
We want to share, connect, and grow the paper flower community with you.
Welcome to Paper Talk.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Paper Talk. Today's episode is sponsored by patron Orietta Thin White.
We appreciate your donation and we're excited to keep creating content for the paper flower community.
If you're interested in supporting us, head over to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/papertalk and sign up as a patron.
We'd love to see you there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Paper Talk. Today, we have the amazing paper flower artist, Gerry Rosales of ThePaperblooms with us. He's from the Philippines, and we have been following him for quite some time. I remember first seeing his flowers pop up on my Instagram feed, and I thought, wow, this person, whoever's making these flowers, has it polished. And then some of his other posts where he integrates like graphics with it, I was like, this is more and more interesting now. Like, who is this person who can design so well? And it turns out it's Gerry. And it's been amazing, like getting to know you. I mean, you're across the world from us. You're like, well, right now it's 9 p.m. for you. It's 9 a.m. for you. So it's like a huge, like 12-hour difference. Technology nowadays, we can actually meet and we can talk face to face. So Gerry, welcome to our podcast.
Welcome, Gerry.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jessie and Queen.
Thank you so much for meeting up with us and contributing to our Facebook group. As an admin, Gerry not only does the Friday tip, which are amazing, by the way. I mean,
so
the
amazing
work that you put into it.
I know, it's so
I
much.
was just thrown it in as like an image and a comment, but you like do videos, you do like tutorials, like picture tutorials that are all numbered.
Oh,
and you're
detailed.
so detailed and concise about everything. Amazing. But Gerry also helps Susan with the video tutorials for the paper flower challenges for the month as well. And Gerry's often at the makers meetings. So he's just been such a wonderful contribution to our Facebook group. Gerry, how do you do it all?
I know. And plus he has 3 kids, you guys.
Three kids.
And multiple businesses. Yeah, it's amazing. He's so talented. I don't think he sleeps, to be honest.
I can sleep longer now.
Yay!
I'm already in bed by 9 p.m. and I'm awake at 6 in the morning. So how do I do that? I don't really know how to do it. It's just, I think, how you eat an elephant, how you juggle things out with your hands. And I'm so glad that I'm part of this paper flower community. It's an amazing journey from the moment that I started. I never knew it would be a business. All I thought it would be just like a solution for my then fiance problem of holding a heavy bouquet, which she doesn't like. Basically, my paper flower journey started from there when we were planning for a wedding back in 2013. So we had this meeting with the florist and we're thinking of using peonies, ranunculus, and garden roses for her bouquet because we're planning to have like English country wedding. So everything was set. So the flowers, those are my choices.
Sorry, they were your choices or her choices?
Yes, my choices.
Love that.
She doesn't know about flowers, and I've been doing flower arrangements for quite some time before a wedding.
Oh, cool. You mean fresh
wedding,
floral arrangements?
yes, fresh flowers as part of my job as wedding planner, coordinator before we get met. So I have all the say in our wedding.
That's awesome.
I'm the groom planner.
I love it.
How cool
I love
is
my
that?
groom planners.
Yes, I'm the groom planner. So we met with the florist, and the problem after the meeting, she told me whether it's beautiful or pricey or premium, as long as it is weighty, I won't carry.
Really?
Well, there's no bridal bouquet that it's not heavy.
Yeah, and those are big blue
And it's
flowers.
bulky. When you hold it, it's something like bulky on your hand and thick because it's fresh. It has flowers. It has the foliages and all the stems in there. There's a detail. So that night I was left thinking. I resorted to Google. I Googled for ideas. Well, I love Google.
Yes, we all do.
I love Googling things. So that was back in 2013, second quarter of 2013. And something popped on my screen like it's a yellow flower made of crepe paper from Russia. So I get interested. It's a wedding that used paper flowers. So I got intrigued with the idea. I just researched more on that, printed some photos and presented it to her the other day. And she liked the idea. Now the question, who would do? That's the big question at the time. She's not crafty. Until now, she haven't made one flower. We've been 7 years married.
Congratulations.
Well, she still can't make paper flower up to now. So that was my problem that time. So since I do some paper crafts back then, so I just decided, okay, I'll put my hand on this and let's make everything paper flowers. To my surprise, I was able to make all of the centerpieces for the wedding. The caterer agreed that we'll be using centerpieces, paper flower centerpieces, and the whole entourage in the church set.
Wow. How many flowers did you make?
I don't know.
How long did it take you?
I started March 2013 and I finished August because our wedding would be in September. So I should finish by August so I can arrange the flowers by the first and second week of September.
How many wedding guests did you have?
We had 200 guests.
So that's a lot of centerpieces, you guys, if you think about it.
And the weather was so inclement during our wedding. It was raining hard.
Oh no.
We have to transfer. We planned for a garden venue. It doesn't happen. It did not happen because of the heavy rain. I have to look for tent because the caterer won't send up in the garden. It won't have tent. Then the ceremony was transferred indoor. But it was fun. It was an intimate moment. I still love what happened. The whole family was there. The guest was there. We have 200 invited guests. 198 arrived. Still they love us despite of the weather. Despite of the weather, they are there. Like I did some. It was eleni.com during that time that was rebranded, I think, to Leah Griffith. As I think, Eleni. They're offering free templates during that time. So I got their rose and I think it's the poppy template that I used from them for my wedding. I didn't use crepe paper during my wedding. I used parchment paper. What else did I use? Parchment paper, tracing paper that I colored. Those are the materials that I used. Tissue. For the boutonnieres, I used cupcake liners.
Yeah.
Cupcake liners are fun to make. It makes a good
carnation.
Carnation, yes. So I have a carnation boutonniere, then poppies, roses for the entourage and for the center.
That's awesome.
Wow. I love how all of these, for some of us who did start making paper flowers because of our wedding, and this was a couple of years ago, we kind of used what we had, you know, because this was before the whole crepe paper explosion, I would say. And you just kind of, you know, use whatever materials you had. You don't know any better. It works, you know, and they're great memories. And then from there, you kind of explore, what kind of papers do I really want to use? So tell us, how did you start using crepe paper then?
After our wedding, so by January, she asked me, why don't you make crepe? Why don't you make flowers and post it on your social media? Someone might like it and buy it. Then I told her, where would I get the material? It was by chance that I was able to find a crepe paper. It was China 100.
Yeah.
So that's the crepe paper I'm using up to now. So I find it from a Chinese store in Manila and I bought few rolls and I started making flowers using it. And I just love how the workability of crepe paper compared to stock cards and tracing paper and the first materials that I used. And I told her, what would we name the flower? I'm a marketing man. I love brands. Everything I do, I make brand. Even if it's only just for me, I should name something and make it into a brand. I did the flowers. So the flowers that I first made from crepe paper is very far from what I'm making now. I still have the photos of the first flowers I made from crepe paper. Everyone can tell the difference, like the petal shaping, the totality of it, I guess. So I started from there. So I didn't still post the photos on my Facebook page because I'm thinking of what would I name them? I listed down some names and I always sit down on making names. So I have Paper Garden. That's on the top list. So I ended up with Paper Bloom.
It's a beautiful name.
It's paper, it blooms. So I started, then after I had a name, I searched for a domain and it's already.
Oh no. So what did you do?
Oh, I just love using Paper Blooms, but it's already taken. So I just added the article, the Paper Bloom. So I'll be, when you say it's the Paper Bloom, it's not Paper Bloom. So you're something like an authority to it.
I agree. That's why I have the Posy box.
So I just added the article "the" and it makes all the difference. My domain was registered thepaperblooms.com.
Yay.
And I decided to use it as a single word, the paper blooms, not 3 words, not 2 words. It's always written the paper blooms, one liner. I always tell that when everyone asks me how to write it down, if they write it in 3 words or 2 words, I always correct just 1 word.
Just one word.
Oh,
Just
I will
one
make a
word.
note of that as I'm typing it out.
It's only the letter T that is
That is
capitalized.
capitalized? Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
The letter T and the P, I mean.
T and
correct.
P. What about
T and
B?
P, but that's 1 word. The B is not capital.
Oh, interesting. What was the decision on that?
So it would stand like Paper Blooms is the authority in paper blue.
Gotcha.
I don't
How
know if that
interesting.
makes sense.
I love the thinking behind this.
I love how your marketing background kind of seeped into this artistic arena.
Yes, and I just love how everything is being placed in there. My graphic background is also
Yeah.
being used for the Paper Blooms. I made a logo for the Paper Blooms to make it as simple as possible, clean lines. So I posted and we had, my first sale was 18 roses.
Wow, that's
18
great.
pieces of roses that for the Valentine's.
Nice.
So from then I developed the Paper Blooms into a brand, and it's not an easy journey. So the Paper Blooms took me at least 3 years to build the brand. What are things that I did to make it as a brand? First, I tried to challenge the fresh flower industry by saying the paper blooms more than fresh.
Oh, I like
So
that.
that was
That's
my
exciting.
tagline before. So from there, my wife told me, "You can never be more than fresh. Paper is limited. Your skill is still limited. The resources are limited. You have to get it from China and Germany and Italy, and we don't have that much resources. So still, I should challenge the cut flower industry. We are more than fresh. I'm sticking into it." So I joined bridal fair. I didn't make any sale for spending so much money. I joined at least 5 bridal fairs in 2 years, and I didn't make a sale for the first 3 bridal fairs. Then she told me again, "Why spend so much money on it? I want to educate people that paper flowers are here, that paper flowers are here." So we spend it. I make a lot of flyers for every bridal fairs that we make and distribute it to a lot of people. That's the only way we can say we're here. There's paper flowers, because paper flowers in the Philippines is not a craft. It's not an option. It's just something that people put an eye into. More than ever, it's not something that people would use for their weddings. During that time, the wedding industry in the Philippines is booming, and they're starting to make styles, and styling for the wedding is like a big business. During that time, up to now, I challenge the fresh flower by saying it's more than fresh, until I find one bride who is allergic to pollens.
Perfect. The perfect bride.
And that changed everything. Sold my flowers and said, "Can you make a bouquet for me?" Because literally we're using balloons for all the wedding, for all the event, for all the family events that they had in the past. They're using balloons or no decorations because the family are allergic to pollen. Until she saw my flowers and she asked if I can do a bouquet for her and for the entourage. Then I did the flowers, and she was teary-eyed the moment I gave the bouquet, because finally she can hold a flower on her big, not a balloon.
Aww.
And that changed everything. After that, I was invited by a craft store if I can be one of their consignor, and the consignment fee is high. The thing that got me is that the store will be open at a premium mall in Manila. That's Greenbelt 5. So I signed in. From that time, I changed from more than fresh to I just used the tagline more than fresh just to challenge the mind of the consumer. Like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's this? What's this?"
But that is, yeah. I mean, if I heard that, I would be like, wait, what is he talking about?
Yeah, and how?
Yeah. Then
That's
how?
the idea. That's the idea, to get people curious.
Yeah.
For sure.
Until then, after that, when I joined the craft store, I have flowers on sale per stem. That's also the time that I was able to refine my pricing, like pricing hit and miss in the past.
Sure.
But after I joined the craft store, I was able to refine my pricing, and also I changed the tagline, "Make someone happy," because I I got make someone happy from the moment I delivered the flower. The joy in their faces are just priceless. So if I can make paper flowers, then I can make someone happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Until today, I'm using make someone happy as my tagline. I never miss that. They are always happy.
For sure. So you started, you said 8 years ago?
Yes.
You're absolutely a forerunner, and
What's up, Kate?
forerunner in Asia, nonetheless.
It's huge.
So tell us a little bit about that.
My math is wrong. 2014, so it's 6.
6 years.
Okay, 6 years.
6 years.
Okay, 6 years.
Yeah.
But
Sorry for that.
still, I mean, that is like, you referenced Leah Griffith before she was Leah Griffith.
Exactly.
Yes, before
So-
she was Leah Griffith. Eleni.com.
Yes. So exactly. I mean, that is, no, you're absolutely a forerunner, and not just, in Asia. And I think that's a big deal, because Asia, typically, you've already spoken about it and you've touched upon it, their perspective of paper craft, pretty much anything you make with your hands, they don't really appreciate it for many reasons, right? But how does that, I mean, and you touched upon pricing as well. How did it affect your pricing approach at the time that you started versus now?
The moment I had clients and I joined the craft store, I priced my flowers premium already.
And what do you mean by premium?
I don't price it low or economic.
Mhm.
I priced it on the level of the mall where I first got into.
Yeah. I'm going to try to put perspective on this. Would you say you price your flowers as the same price as fresh flowers, or more expensive?
There are lots of flower levels here in the Philippines. You have the standalone shops where flowers are placed in bulk. So they are selling it like 40 to 60 pesos, or on low months, and like just 60 to 100 pesos per stem during peak season. And I price my paper flowers double.
Nice.
That's my starting price for my garden rose. A 40 stemmed garden rose with a leaf set, and I priced it at 185 pesos already during that time, and I'm making a sale. So
That's great.
it's kind of challenging because, as you have said, as what Jessie has mentioned, craft here in Asia is something that people get for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did something like this. Can you make also for my birthday? And
Yeah.
Can you-
The mentality is so different.
yes.
Yeah.
You don't buy craft.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? When I first started making paper flowers, my mom told me that when she grew up, people that were poor would make paper flowers for their weddings.
Yes,
so
they
it was
do.
so it's very looked down in South Asia, and so curious to hear your side of the story, how you were able to elevate it and how you pushed it. And no, our paper flowers are more expensive. It's handcraft. And I just love that you're being a cheerleader for paper flowers in Asia. And it's so amazing to see. Congratulations for making it happen, because now when I see you with all the commercial work that you do, it's so high end. It's beautiful.
Thank you for that. I guess when they saw our prices, they use that as a reference point in pricing their flowers too. Because after I have the flowers, I saw other makers here in the Philippines who are making paper flowers and selling it also, like what I'm doing. Most of them are students from my workshops that started their own paper flower business, and others are enthusiasts who are fond of like watching YouTube tutorials and making flowers for themselves. So I love challenging the mind. And also when we challenge like paper flowers is so looked down, it is being used by poor brides in the communities or in the locals, I put a lot of energy into it. So I should price this premium, because what I'm putting is premium. So that also speaks on my commercial, because people won't buy something premium if they are not really premium, or you're just masking it like it is premium. So I took the pain making my own templates, studying flowers, deconstructing flowers, just to get the right assembly, the right shaping and everything.
And we can tell. Absolutely. Do you find, I sometimes think about myself, I made my own wedding flowers out of paper. And the reason why was because it was DIY. It was, one was control, because I wanted control over my flowers. But two, it was in a way like to save money, right? Instead of having to spend a lot of money, air quotes, paying a florist to buy the flowers, arrange, design. In a way, it was, a DIY approach to my wedding. So like, on the other hand, now that I'm making paper flowers and I'm selling them, that dichotomy really catches me, because yes, it is more inexpensive if you make it yourself, because you're not paying for your own labor.
Yes.
But if you're going to pay for someone else to do the same thing and spend the same time and also be skilled enough to make something, then and it's different. It's I don't know. Like, I think about it now, and I think that's where it comes from, the mentality or the belief that someone making paper flowers, oh, I could do that, and that will save me money. So that's why we should only pay really low for it. It's inexpensive. It's cheap. On the other hand, if you actually think of it from someone who does not have the ability to do it or time, no, it's completely different. It's a skilled art. It takes time. And like you said, depending on what it's priced, it is premium. It's such a, I don't know about you, but like thinking back about how I approached it myself personally as a DIY project, I kind of blame that for making our art seem like a quote unquote craft that anyone can do.
Well, paper craft anyone can do, but not anyone have time to do it, or not anyone has the skill to do it.
Exactly.
It's more than the paper flowers that they're buying or they're paying for. It's the skill, it's the time of the maker, that
the evolution of your skill. Yeah.
It's the idea that like, well, initially, paper, anyone can just grab a piece of paper. But really, can you like turn something like completely flat into something 3-dimensional? And plus, let's be honest, I mean, we have enough trouble sourcing our crepe paper. It's not that easy to get a hold of, and it's not inexpensive at all. Which actually, Gerry, I mean, do you still use the Chinese crepe paper?
Yes, I still use that.
So
because of the pricing issue. Because of the pricing issue. Because like the Paper Blooms prices is pretty high already. If not that high, it's already pretty high. So if I'll be using like crepe paper from Italy or Germany, then I'll be paying more. The price of that crepe paper is low, but for the shipping and the tariff and the government taxes, then let's say like how much is an Italian crepe? It's €3. Then when it reached Philippines, it's already 10. So that high. And I'll still
same here.
add my labor, and also I just I stick to using China 100, although the quality of the crepe paper is variable every time.
Yes.
Like the red, it's a scarlet today. Then the next delivery, it would be like dark red. Then the following, it would be crimson. But it's still, they call it still red. The other issue is the stretch. Today, it is like real China 100, like the stretch is 100. But the following day, it's like, just like a Japanese paper, crumpled.
Oh no.
So
the
one
standard
thing,
of quality isn't really there. Yeah, I hear you. Don't worry.
Unlike the Carto crepe paper, I'm also using that the quality is standardized. So what do I learn from that? Well, creativity sprouts in scarcity. You have to be more creative every time with the materials that you have. You have to make the most out of it.
I totally agree.
We can always whine for the weather, but if you dance with the rain, it's still good.
Yes.
It's a source of inspiration, I would say.
This is what I always tell. So in whatever industry, I've been into photography, I'm a graphic artist, I'm a wedding planner, and I will always say this: do the most of what you have. And it's easy to tell that if I have this crepe paper, I can make better flowers. If I have if I have pan pastels, I can get a better color. No. Yes, materials will make the outcome better, but it's still your hands, your skills, your level of artistry that would speak more than just the material.
So true.
I can make different roses out of the Italian crepe than the China 100. Still, goodness that I can still manage to come up with a great flower from the materials that I have.
For sure.
And using China 100, we can maintain the craft.
For sure. I mean, obviously, I just consider it as different personalities, right? You just get used to the personality of the 100-gram Chinese, and you learn to work with it to your advantage. And you just, like you said, you work with what you have.
Yeah.
And you're able to create beautiful flowers, notwithstanding any kind of hurdles or characteristics of that type of paper that isn't particularly easy to work with. I mean, you've managed amazingly. So, I mean, whatever paper you have in your hands, you're able to make magic out of them.
Yeah. And if anyone's interested in trying the Chinese 100, papermark.com in the United States carries that. It's just the regular crepe paper, not the premium heavy crepe. That's completely different.
And don't compare it with the Carto Technica 90 or the doublet from Germany.
Yes,
I don't even know where their
different
numbers came from. The 100-gram and 180, like
You'll
it's not
even the same.
not the same like standard or weight or
I know
calculation or formula. I think they just slapped a number on there.
Yeah, it's like that sounds good.
I think that's for reference.
Yes, Exactly. Now to our fun part. We're going to ask you about when you do paper flowers, what is your drink of choice and what are you watching when you're making paper flowers?
I don't watch at all when I'm making paper flowers. I just have some music on Spotify or YouTube playing on the background.
So what kind of music? Do you have a favorite band
It's
or is it?
basically gospel music, Christian music that's playing on the background and singing along with it. Every now and then, my kids might go with me, sit on the lap while I'm making paper flowers.
And you can do that with them?
Yes, I can do that.
That's
Multi-talented
awesome.
man.
That's awesome.
Multi-talented.
Are any of them going to be budding paper florists?
I think so.
Yay! Our next
they love
generation.
I bought them scissors for them. I bought scissors for them
Ooh.
that they can use that is safe for kids.
Oh.
Good thing that my children, yes. Good thing that my children are not playing with my stuff like my scissors, my glue gun, and the rest of it.
Yes.
No,
They're
smart,
not playing
giving them
with
their
it.
own tools.
Yeah.
They would always say, "It's Tatay's things. Don't mess with it. He'll be yell it." They always say, "He will be yell it." That means he'll be angry. He'll be mad. They always tell to each other. It's just fun.
Aw.
When I watch, I stop.
It's too
When
distracting.
I watch something, I stop making paper flowers. They want to watch movie or something, then I will stop making paper flowers. Drink, I think it's just a coffee. I let the coffee cool. Then when it's already cold, then that's the time I will drink. But I make coffee in boiling water. But
Okay,
I will
good.
not. I will not drink it unless it is cool.
Oh my God.
But I don't like putting ice on it. It changes the taste of the coffee.
Yes,
sure,
definitely.
for sure.
Just something like that. One time when I was just starting the craft, like I'm only 1 or 2 years, between 1 or 2 years, I had this rush project from a beauty company, from a beauty brand. I can mention the brand because I have an NDA with them. But it's a known brand. It's a pink brand for women, for face. A hairpiece for them, like a Snapchat filter that they used on their launch. I literally didn't have sleep for 3 nights straight just to finish the job.
Oh my gosh. And you were drinking a lot of cold coffee.
No, I'm just drinking water because if I drink coffee, I will be sleepy. I drink coffee before I get to sleep, and
Really?
it's a tranquilizer for me. I was able to deliver the flowers at the
Congratulations.
venue, and I was just happy finding that it is Victoria. It has photos with the brand.
That's
Sure.
great.
After 2 years, I was able to post it on my IG. It was
Nice.
after 2 years.
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, that's
You must
so
have been
long.
so excited to share it and then yet not being able to, that must have.
Also, at that time, I didn't know that it's that brand. I just know it's a beauty brand, but I didn't know it's the brand. I also used that one.
Because
So
they
they
didn't
didn't tell
disclose
you
that
it's-
to you either.
Yes.
Well, that's
It's
not
an
as
agent.
exciting.
It's an event agency or it's an event company who get my services for them.
Uh-huh. I see.
It's from the event photographer that was able to find out that it was that brand who used that.
That's nice.
That is nice.
I sent the messages and email if I can use the photo, and the photographer agreed. So I
Yay.
posted it.
Yay!
This is
Why not?
fun.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for being part of the admin group for our Facebook, for the Paper Talk
It's my
community.
pleasure. It's always my pleasure to be this kind of people,
Well, I mean,
talented and
Well, I mean, you're so generous with your time and your talent and your knowledge and experience. I mean, the posts that you make on the Facebook group, they're so informative. And even when I read them, I'm like, wow, like you're so concise, so detailed, great instructions.
Very
I'm
good.
I'm sure everyone who reads your posts is learned something from it because I definitely do. Yeah. So you have tons to share and you've been so generous with it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much,
it's
Gerry.
my pleasure. They're always asking me if I'm writing a book. No, I'm
Yes,
not
you
just writing
should.
one.
You're amazing.
Why not? Why not?
If ever I'll be writing a book on paper flowers, it would be for weddings. Because I think
Yeah.
that's one thing
Wonderful.
that paper florists haven't tried.
Yes. Very, very true.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing lots of bouquets.
That's great.
There's lots of bouquets for December, January, and February.
That's awesome. How is COVID affecting you guys? Has it
Well,
affected the wedding industry at all or your business?
Yes, it's heavily affected. First, the mall was closed, so I don't have a regular sale coming from the mall since April
Wow.
up to now. I haven't been to Manila yet up to this moment.
Wow.
The last time I went to Manila was when I delivered my stocks for February pop-up. It's in February. So from that time on until now, I haven't been to Manila. But little by little, the wedding industry is moving on.
Mm-hmm.
I have bridal bouquet since July. So I just ship it around anywhere in the Philippines. That's it. And I had a wedding last October and it was fun.
Oh, that's good.
It's good. It's going back little by little.
That's good to hear.
We're still in GCQ.
What's that? Sorry?
It's a general community quarantine. We're still in GCQ
Okay.
up to the end of November. Hopefully by end of November it will be good.
Sounds like
That's why I
everyone's
started the
actually
new business.
Yes.
yeah, totally understand it.
So I can cope with the expenses.
For sure. The realities, for
Yeah.
Realities. I have kids to feed and a wife to beautify.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Gerry, for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, and spending this hour with us. It was a joy to get to know you better, really. I mean, we've worked with you and I've talked to you once, I think a long time ago on Facebook
Yes.
Live, a couple years
Good
back.
thing we don't have internet issues now.
Yeah. That
Yes.
time I was like, oh no, Gerry, what happened? I can't get you on. You're like all fuzzy and laggy. And I was like, oh no.
Yay for technology advancement.
I know. A couple years later.
If you're looking for a way to support us, please hit subscribe and write us a review. We would appreciate it so much.
You can also support us as a patron on patreon.com. Your contribution would help us continue to create great content for you and the Paper Flower community.